finally, after
Only almost 2 hours, we made it. Yeah, happy release day. We are here today to share with you some of our process, how we developed the song Erase the Human Factor. And for the first time, we want to give you an insight into how we created the piece and what kind of effects we were using and a bit of the background of that song. We actually called the session that we improvised that day Erase the Human Factor because we were talking about human factors like emotionality or doubts, thoughts.
we were a lot into that subject, no, of perfection, imperfection.
And also success. I remember talking a lot about success and what you could be and you would have the potential and things like that. And so that session came to life. I think it was about 20 minutes long. And then we decided to cut it into pieces. So to take the most convincing parts of that session, which was the basic ongoing ambient kind of beat, super minimalistic. We edited it and then we continued producing the song basically, which we're going to talk about later. And one of the key elements that I want to show you now, that is like the core of the song, let's say, is a beat that I looped. I did it with a TC Helicon. The TC Helicon is a looper and effect machine for vocals mainly, and it has a section that where you can actually sample your voice on the spot. My basic sound was a harmonizer kind of thing that adds a bit of a a bit of a low voice. I cannot really determine now what kind of harmony I was using. I was using something in the in the rhythm section that is called reversed sample. And I was making a sound dung 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 and then going into the rhythm which sampled the whole thing. Dung. Back then I had a different tempo, but that was kind of the loop that I created. And apparently I kept my finger on the machine all the time to keep the sample loop continuing. And there's another stutter effect that Irene used in the song, which I'm going to show you.
That is very common in our music because it gives like a atmospheric, no, feeling.
Exactly. So probably you also had some delay.
Yeah. Wow.
That kind of thing. And these are two core elements that we created for this song, coming from the TC Helicon.
Cool. Sí, eso es uno de los efectos que a mí más me gustan y que yo creo que nos empezó
You're speaking in Spanish suddenly. Is that on purpose?
No. So that stutter kind of effect, atmospheric, I really like it. And I think it's one of the things that inspired us to look for a synthesizer made by vocals, because that was one of my first feelings of a vocal turning into a synthesizer. No, it's very powerful, very fast. You have a synthesizer on a way, no, but then we went further into this because at some point we were out of magical effects to tweak our vocals. So we also started using simpler and sampler. In this case is sampler and is the bass, which we added later because, as Jenny was saying, we made the song more compact. We never count bars like this has to be 8 bars, things like that. We keep our music, we like that it's not so even. We also have to play on top of it and also adjust to the music, but not everything quantized and all this shit. So this is a sampler. And here we put a sample, which is this one. I put it here and it sounds like this. And it's just like, I think, this kind of effect. Me doing like that with octavers
like
and
doing that.
Yeah, like trying to find a note that is not like, ooh, because we always have the sound of the voice and we wanted to take something from the voice, but bueno, we wanted to make things difficult and fun for us. So we came up with that, and then sampler is very fun because you can tweak sustain, you can tweak a lot of things. Here is only the bass, and one of the things that affects a lot is the filter. It can give a lot of character to that bass line. And, well, of course, the way you are taking the loop. No, it's not the same if you start here. But in this case, it sounds very similar. But also, a lot of times we have to tweak a little bit. We have some frequency like that, so we have to take it out. And we use compressors, and again here we are taking a bit more even to make it more, probably more dark. We were looking for that. It was one of our first bass lines, actually. I think this one, that we liked it, that it was a bit like a bit more smushy feeling.
Yeah, because I think that was the first time we got very frustrated that with our vocals, and even with octaver effects, like we have them in the TC Helicon, we can never reach that low end, no, that warmth and that fatness, so to say. That's why we went into creating bass sounds from our vocals, but really tweaking them so that we kind of get a synthesizer effect.
Yeah, it's a bit like looking for an oscillator in ourselves, no? Or in using a lot of machines to become a bit of an oscillator.
Yeah.
Yeah, and from the other sound that we created, that we are very proud in this, is, I think is here, is the pads that also added another layer and also started answering phrases that Jannis sang in the lyrics and added more layers. And
more depth also, no? Because the original recording that we did was quite dry in a way, quite direct. And then through the synths, we really created that space behind the song, let's say.
Yeah. So this is the full pad. And it's made of this sample and this one. This is more low. Only these two samples. And it has its own delays, and we can work a lot on the sound with Iris too. It's amazing to create pads with the sounds. And the samples that we introduced are these ones. So they were already with effects. And then we also have the drone for another one. And yeah, like that we create synthesizers. And finally, we really like a lot to work with reverse. In this case, it was with the tchelicon, I think, mixed with chaos pad, something making it lower for the ending.
I really like that personality.
Yeah, wondrous one, wonder bro, wondrous, which is actually just this one. It's just that, no? Erase the human. I sampled that in the chaos pad, and then suddenly, wonders war, it becomes lower, and yeah, mola mucho. Así que sí, it has a lot of. This song actually has already all the components of an alta that we are doing in the last years that are very new. All these bass lines, no, synthesizers.
And of course, it is important to mention that Jannis Bentler mastered the whole track, and I always find it amazing when Jannis masters our music, like he did in our albums, because he works on the frequencies and suddenly he cleans up the whole thing, you know. And suddenly I hear things that I didn't hear before, so it's always a super nice surprise package when it comes back.
Yeah, it's amazing, and he always comes when we are already bleeding our ears with the song, so we cannot mix anymore. We already produced, changed all the details of the bass and everything, and then suddenly it's como, here, Jannis, and then it comes back amazing, and we're like, oh, yeah, thank you.
It comes back as a perfect baked cake.
Yes, amazing. And the picture is from Duna Valles, which we were super happy doing that session in Barcelona last spring. It was amazing.
Okay, guys, thanks a lot for listening, and enjoy the track, and see you another time.
Erase the human factor.
Erase nur.
I love this of you.
Now I really like our color
Ah,
concept. Like I am referring to your jacket, you're referring to my microphone. It's super style.